we're now joined by the CEO of App Annie, Bertrand Schmitt, a man who helps combine a plenty of data for all those data-hungry technology companies out there. Interestingly, you've really been crunching some numbers on the sheer scale of the app economy at the moment. Can you run us through those sorts of numbers?
Yes, the size of the app economy, it's millions of apps. It's 2 hours a day on average. People are spending on apps. It's 3.4 billion smartphones, mobile users, and it's 1.1 trillion US dollars in terms of spend by these consumers and companies. And we see that going to more than 6 trillion US dollars by 2021.
That's interesting because at the moment I hear from the VC community, investor base, that they're worried that the time is gone now for apps, that they don't want to be funding yet a new app because they can't see wood for trees, you can't make your voice heard. Do you agree with that?
I will probably disagree in the sense by every metric. Time spent, number of apps used, growth rate we have seen, these keep getting bigger and bigger. So I would say from a VC perspective, yes, the question is can you launch a business from scratch and hope for this to be successful so late in the game? That's probably a bigger question for them. But for us, for established business, for established startups that have become grown-up, I believe it's exciting time and times of great opportunities, actually.
What are the new ways in which we're seeing payments within apps grow? I mean, is it by the games that you pay for? Is it premium that you spend money on? How are the revenue streams panning out?
So multiple revenue streams from games. It moved very quickly to a freemium business model with in-app purchase. It worked very well, it's still working very well. 90% of all gaming monetization goes that way, probably. Outside gaming, it's more subscription-based type of business model. In news, in media, in entertainment, in dating, in language learning. We see advertising, huge as well. So advertising is already a bigger market, advertising in app versus what consumers are spending directly. But the biggest piece is really around m-commerce. M-commerce has been growing very fast, and we see even faster growth in the coming few years because of two phenomena. It's commerce moving to e-commerce and m-commerce, and e-commerce moving to m-commerce very hard.
Are there disparities in regions, in areas of the globe? I mean, is it Asia that has really driven this forward? Because we think of WeChat and the amount that you can do within there, within payments. Are they leading the charge when it comes to m-commerce?
Definitely. If I take Alibaba, for instance, in China, 80% of all their transactions are happening through their mobile app. If I take Amazon in the US, it's between 40 and 50%. So there is still a gap, and if I take Europe, we might talk about 20-30% as of today. But there is big general trends where everyone is moving. It's becoming a bigger and bigger shift to mobile apps in e-commerce.
When I think of WeChat, I think of their expansion that you do everything within one platform. You're addicted. You can book your car, you can pay for your dinner, you can then transfer money between your friends. Why then are we adding to our collection of apps if we're trying to see consolidation here?
So that's why I love data, is to be able to answer smartly to this type of questions. Ultimately, what we saw in our numbers, for instance, is that China is a place where people are using the most apps. So even if WeChat, Weixin in China, lets you do more, actually people get addicted to some of this new service and end up moving to the full experience, downloading the app. So it's a mix with WeChat. You have more services included, but ultimately you end up using the dedicated app for some of these top app publishers.
When do we hit peak mobile? We're already seeing sales growth flowing. When do we see that the whole world has already got their smartphone?
So you're talking about sales growth in devices, in smartphones. Yes, we're only selling 1 billion smartphones a year. That's the biggest, most successful device of all time. There is nothing coming close by to it. We see an install base of 3.4 billion smartphones today. We see that going to 6.3 billion smartphones by 2021. So basically it's going to stop when every man, woman, child on Earth has a smartphone, and it's going to happen in a few years from now. And once you have a smartphone, you spend more time using apps and you spend more money in different ways through all these apps. So we see a lot of opportunities if you're a service provider.
It's fascinating that your own business was started in Asia, was started in China. You then went over to Silicon Valley to help build the talent pool. When you look at the talent pool in Silicon Valley, do you worry at all particularly about the Trump reaction, about potentially harder to get visas? Has that affected your business at all?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a question. I would say from our perspective, our approach has always been to hire in multiple locations. We have 15 locations now. So our sales team in different markets are operating locally. We have four R&D centers all over the world, in Asia, in US, in Europe. So we optimize our recruiting based on where we can find great people and where it's convenient to hire them. So it has some impact, but we have already designed the business on a very global basis.
I see. But have you found it harder to hire in the US?
Not yet.
Not yet. And the UK?
The UK, interesting questions. I would say so far, no real difference. But in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now, it's tough to say. I would say in Europe, our strategy has been a few years ago to actually deepen our presence in East Europe from Berlin, in South Europe from Paris. So from the UK, we are running more UK and Northern Europe anyway.
Resolutely in the EU. What about then the demand? The companies you supply the data to, they range from Amazon to Google to so many of the key top players. Where is demand stemming from the most at the moment for your services and your data?
So for services, it's more around today, more around the mainstream clients, mainstream businesses that are consumer facing. And because their consumers, their clients are spending so much time on apps, they have to reinvent their business model on apps. Those that are doing it fast and early enough and well have a great benefit. The rest are running fast right now to try to compensate, because many realize in a few years' time the economics of your business model might have changed so dramatically that you need to be in a great position to compete.
Any companies you think are really leading the way, really showing how it's done?
Yeah, I think you have companies from an Air France to McDonald's, Starbucks in the US that are doing very well reinventing their business model, making it better for consumers while reducing their spend. Many banks like Barclays in Europe are doing a great job at optimizing the user experience for their banking customers. I don't know if you know, but most banking transactions today in nearly all the big banks are happening through the mobile app. I've heard banks telling me that they stopped developing anything but a focus on mobile apps on the consumer-facing side.
Well, I certainly try and do most of mine in my app as well. It's been wonderful speaking to you, Bertrand Schmidt. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
CEO of App Annie joining us.